Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Indices. Just before we start, though, we're having a bit of a chat with Harsh, our Indian analyst for India, and we'll probably be doing some intraday updates for the Nifty and maybe the Bank Nifty in the chat lounge. Okay, so the S&P 500. There's a couple of things we need to talk about. First up is that we've had our CPI figures, and now in the next session we'll be looking at our PPI figures, which will be the last window for the Feds to look at before they meet in about 6 days' time. So, in terms of our trading and analysis, we've been we understood that the market would be pushing up. However, we wanted to, before we took any real positions, we wanted to get on the other side of the CPIs and the PPIs. And we've also got employment figures coming out in the next session as well. So we want to be on the other side of that. And we also really wanted support on the 5,500. Now, because even though it's above the 5,500, it hasn't retested that 500 and confirming that it's support. So in terms of support, we always look at a market will come up to a level, say the 500 here, and react from that level, which it has, and it has pushed up through the level. So we're waiting for it to retest it in one way or another. Now, I need to talk about this top a little bit, but basically going from resistance to support over here, and we buy new highs. We want the market to prove to us that it's actually strong, so we buy new highs rather than buying new lows and getting trapped. So that's really what we're waiting for, to be on the other side of that. Now, let's go from the weekly chart. From the weekly chart, we're looking at wave 4 to wave 5 here. We're looking for 5 waves. We've got wave 1, and we're in wave 2 at the moment, so we need to discuss that. And then it'll be wave 3, 4, and 5 in all of this. So picking it up from that wave 4 here, this is where we are at the moment. Now, in this particular instance, it's sitting at the sort of 50% retracement level from this low to this high here. The 61.8% is a little bit lower. The NASDAQ actually is sitting on the 61.8% space here, so it doesn't really need to come down. The S&P has got a bit of space to come down. There's other markets that have space to come down as well, but we need to talk a bit about everything at the moment. So we can, in a nutshell, to start with, we can have wave 2 here, and we can put wave 2 over here, and we could get a move lower from this top here down into this space here, because it's pulled back up from this top to this low here. It's at the 61.8% at this stage, or we could view it as entering the supply zone here as well. So the next resistance area. One of our key things since we've been down here is to really develop support on this 5,500 here. And just because it's above it, it doesn't mean that it's support. It needs, like this one here, it's pushed up here. It needs to come back and check it, and it may fail and continue on down here, like this move here. There's space for it to come down here, but the NASDAQ is pretty sort of tight in this particular area here. And if we go from one day into the intraday area here and pick it up from let's just look at all of this wave 1 and 2 here for a moment. So these are our two pathways here. We can have wave 1 here with an ABC for wave 2 here, and then we can view this here, this move up here. We can move it. We can view it as a simple ABC to the upside here. And then we can come down. So that means it would need to look at this being wave A here and wave B over here for that, sitting right on the 61.8%. So it could push up a little bit higher. We'll look at that in a bit of detail shortly. But in a nutshell, around this top area here, this is where it could fall down. So the employment figures and the PPI figures is something that could be a catalyst for that situation. So we just really need to wait and see. So we really want to be on the other side of that. Now, The other point that I wanted to make here is this particular top here is a little bit different. The NASDAQ has got this as the top over here. The triple Q has got this as the top over here. The SPY's got this as the top over here. The futures, the main futures contracts have got this as the top over here. The cash market, the SPX, has got this as the top over here. So there's different, a variety of different ways to view this. So we don't want that. That's something else. We want this one here. Just let me get this into the fold a little bit here. This is the S&P. The S&P 100, just to give you a bit of an idea. This is the high over here for this. This is very much like the NASDAQ. So we can look at this as wave A here, with an ABC for the A wave, an ABC for the B wave, and up for the C wave to make wave B. So we can go an A and a B here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for this. It's a reasonable sort of ask, so we can certainly have the low in here. I'm sure we could wingle 5 waves in here to make this 1 and 2 here. Certainly looks like a nice wave 3 here. It's currently sitting at the 61.8% retracement level. If it's going to fail, that's where it's going to fail at in this particular area here. Sure, it may have another little sort of push to the upside. So what we're really looking for here is we need to decide if we're going to be looking at a 3-wave move here as an ABC correction and then come down, or is this going to be wave 4 and then wave 5? Because if we get 5 waves up here, then we can look for an ABC correction and then we can go up again at that point, and then that would make this B wave here the entry point for any serious trades at that point. We could buy further back down here as well, but we'll need to sort of work through all that. But based on having an impulse wave here, then we'll get another impulse wave over here. So that's where, there's 2 different tops here, and we need to, it's good to understand them. It hasn't made the job any easier as such. Do you know what I mean? So, is there? Yeah. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. It is what it is. The other point here is, so we're looking at possible wave 2 here. And we don't know if we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here. This will be the top of the 3rd wave here, or we're going to have this as an ABC and we come down here. So that's what we need to work through. We can have a look at this. This particular product that I've got here is a CFD, so it's got the cash and the futures sort of tied into it. So the physical market and the futures market will have this particular move up here in different patterns because of the extra trading sort of hours. So it makes it a bit difficult to count this here technically on an intraday basis, but we'll have a look at that anyway. But what I wanted to say about, let's just assume for a moment that the market is going to be bullish. Now, we're assuming, so we don't know. If we were going to go long, what we're going to wait for is this first 5 waves up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to wait for the pullback here, and then we'll be going long on that one. But then we could get a position down here if we, in this first little impulse wave here, we'll try to do that. But then we'll wait for the next wave 1 to the upside, so it'll be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then we can also go here as well, but we'll probably be here. So we'll probably be building in some positions here on this side over here if the market is bullish at that point. If the market comes down here, then we need to rinse and repeat and start to work again from the upside. So I don't have all the answers, but it's just something that we need to work through. So from being on 20,000 ticks here down into 1,000 ticks here to drill in here a little bit more and just sort of continue with that story for a moment. So if we assume this is wave 2 here, we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, swift and sharp, good. And then this would be wave 3 up here, wave 3. And just for a moment, then we'll have wave 4 come back. So this trend here has obviously got to top and turn and come back and basically retest that 500. That's what we're looking for. And then if that is the case, then we can look at 1 and 2, nice strong 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave for wave 1, and then back for wave 2. So we kind of want to see that we've got 5 waves here first. Now, the other thing, just to chuck a bit more complication into the point, is that This could also be wave 1 and 2 here, and if I can just borrow this top here could also be wave 1 and 2. And the reason I'm sort of pointing this out for is because it may not just have wave 5 up here and then an ABC for wave 2 and then move up. It could be 1 and 2 and then just sort of, you know, move up quite quickly, because once those CPI figures come out, PPI figures, that's the last window for the Feds to look at to make any adjustments, you know. So it'll be a difference of, you know, 25 basis points on the rates or 50 basis points, you know, that sort of stuff. So it will be built into those PPI figures there. So, you know, it may, you know, move up quite strong here, you know, and, you know, this big picture that I've drawn here may be, you know, an illusion and a false trap to get you in. So understand both situations on this move here. So I don't know if I checked this out here. I probably did do it on this one. I'll do it on the NASDAQ. I think I did it on one of them to understand the count to the upside. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll have a look at it on the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ over here on the daily chart, the same story again, is that we can have wave 2 here, or we can have wave 2 over here for this. And this will also be close to, well, let's just say the supply zones and the 50-60% and all that sort of stuff. It's up in 3 waves so far. Will it turn up there in 5 waves? It's already pulled back to the 61.8%, so it's good. Not to say that it can't pull back to the 78.6 and all the rest of it. So it's still a bit of an unknown until we actually have 5 waves up. If we get 5 waves up, then, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, you know, because we will be looking to move up further at that point, and having 5 waves there will be the confirmation on that, and that's where we're sort of looking to go. So let's go to the intraday here and have a bit of a look at this to the upside. So in this case here, the NASDAQ here is got the top way over here, where the S&P has got it over here. The triple Q as well will have it over here as well. So the triple Q, you could probably count 5 waves down. So it is a little bit of a difficult situation here. Normally what I do is I look towards stock and see what, you know, stock is doing, you know, with the commodity markets and FX markets and those sort of things. We can look at the bonds and yields and work out where the dollar is, and then we can work out where the commodities are based on the dollar and the, you know, gold and yada yada yada. It's pretty sort of, gets a bit sort of, most of the time it's reasonably simple. But the stocks, you know, we can't just rely on the bond market for that. So we need to group the stocks together. So on the bearish count for this, there's as a bearish case, having this up here for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up here. Markets like the FTSE can be quite weak and come down at this point. The FTSE could come down here. The DAX has also got that as a good possibility as well. Quite firm, strong possibilities. So that's that. We'll see. We need this to top here. So this little move coming up here is either going to be wave 3 or going to be C of B. I mean, wave C's are normally quite on a bit more of an angle going up, you know. Wave C's and wave 3s, this has got the personality of a wave 3. But that said, because it's been a little bit news driven, we need to be a little bit mindful of that. I also want to say on the bullish side, to give this some credibility as wave 1 and 2 here, and going up for 3 and 4 here, there are the leading stocks to the upside in all of this would be, first of all, would be Amazon. So Amazon has actually taken out this top here where we had wave 1. So it's clearly taking out the top here. So as we talked in the stocks video this morning, we'll be looking, when this retests the 180 here, we'll be looking for a move in on that. The second one that's looking quite good, because I only track about half a dozen of them, Alessio does the other 50. So in this particular case here with Microsoft here, it's also up at its high here as well. You know, it's testing its high here. There's a couple of different ways to count this up here as well. We're not worried about that. We have a position here. We'll build in another position over here and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the point is that what I think one of the most exciting things is that this move here and then 5 waves down here's in 3 waves, and now this top has been taken out here. It forces this to be an ABC correction, so it puts a lot of weight on this being correct as a wave 1 and 2 here. But anyway, we want to be on the other side of this, this trend here to continue to build in. So we've got Microsoft and we've got Amazon that are looking quite bullish. We've also got Nvidia that's also looking pretty good now as well to the upside. We're built into that, and Apple's not quite there just yet. Apple's also got this bearish possibility here as well. So we just got to kind of get through this. I mean, our main thing was to get support on the 5,500 for the S&P and the 19,000 for as a tested support for the NASDAQ, and we're just not there yet for this. So let's just take a closer look at this particular move to the upside here. This will be the count here roughly is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and all of this is a 3rd wave, 4th wave and 5th wave here that could probably also be pushed up to here. So I don't think the top's here just yet on this. I also looked at this here on the 100 ticks. Let me just, without boring you to death on all of this, let me just sort of get this in here. So yeah, it's possible to put that there, I guess, and you have to sort this out here a little bit. But yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter, but what we're looking for here is, you can see how the trend was quite strong here, and then see how it's getting on a bit of an angle over here. So we know that it's slowing down. So there's probably a little bit more to the top here. There may be even 2 more little moves here to the top. But at some point, we're going to get this here. We're going to get this, flipping over to the other side here somewhere, That trend line is a bit false looking, but we need it to correct. And when it does correct, then we'll just simply be buying long at that point. If the market can prove to us that it's strong and make another move to the upside, we can be on that side of the market. And as I mentioned, it is the Amazon and Microsoft that are showing that sort of strength to the upside, but we're also getting into a topping situation here as well. I wouldn't put too much of a trade on that one there either. Okay, so we come over to the Russell, and it's the same thing with the Russell as well. I mean, I can put a low in here. We can also look at this as we did yesterday on 100 ticks. This is on 1,000. We can look at it at 100, and we still got another move to the downside. Now, I haven't updated this, but just bear with me a little bit here. Not too far off. So we're looking for this here. So let me just squish this up here. That will be that, that will be that, that will be that. Doesn't look like an ABC correction out of this, but we've got space in counting all of this and accounting for everything as the 5 waves here for the A wave, the B wave, and then 1 and 2, a nice long 3rd wave here, 4th wave pulling back to the 4th wave, the 1 lesser degree, or the 38.2, and then one more move to the downside. So there is space for this to move to the downside. One of the things here is that we knew that 38.2 was sort of close to the 210 there. So if we get some first high above the level, then we'll look to go long at that point. Of course, we can improve that and all that sort of stuff, but we don't want to get trapped if we're going to get another move down here first, We want that trade set up there. This is also the same for the FTSE and the DAX and all the other ones here. So with the DAX here, I can get wave 1 up here. I can put wave 2 here. I could also look at all of this down here as the A wave and look for an ABC to the B wave up here, and then come down for the C wave here. So we're not quite ready for this. We'll look at this tomorrow after the CPI figures, the PPI figures, and then we'll make a decision on where we need to be at that point. I won't go into the bigger picture here. There's no need to, but we need to get through this. We need to get through this here. This could turn into 5 waves, and we're not going to miss much anyway, because if we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, we're going to come back in 3 waves and we'll pick it up and we'll go again. So we'll get it, and there's a long way to go. Once we get into this 3rd wave here, wherever the low is, even though you think you may be missing something here, don't worry about foaming at the mouth or anything like that, or start pushing buttons, because there's a long way to go. This wave 3 that goes up here, it's got a long way to go, so we'll be fine. And over here for the FTSE as well, if we look at wave 1 over here, I can reasonably count 5 waves down here for the A wave, and then here as an A and a B and a C wave. This one here hasn't taken this low out here, and this is kind of a bit of a sort of I don't know, a bit of a signal really, because the move up here is in 3 waves as an A and a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the A wave. So to have the B wave over here, I mean, to have this as wave 1 here and then wave 2 over here, wave 2 is really quite big compared to wave 1, and wave 1 is not looking like 5 waves up, it's looking like 3 waves up. So for this here to be an ABC correction in line with the, with the rest of the markets coming down, this move up here would probably be 1 and 2, and like the S&P and the NASDAQ, we're looking at sort of a little 4th in there somewhere and a 5th here somewhere. So we could certainly get a move down here after that. However, this block here is, if that becomes the support with a classic trading levels pattern here, then we look to go to the upside at that point. So we'll be looking for this basic pattern here, classic trading levels 1, and we'll be over here for that. So that's at the point we'll go long. We don't need to be there just yet, and we don't want to get trapped here and look like a dick. It's hard enough as it is. So we wait for a nice safe setup. But this is a bit of a, this here going up in 3 waves. So for the reason, I mean, the rest of the world doesn't have to come down here in line with the FTSE. The FTSE can do that by itself because it's sort of isolated itself from the rest of the world to a point. But it does suggest that, it leaves not maybe a door open, but a window half open, that this can move down further. So it's things like this that sort of create that bearish side of things. I could put it as a truncated 5th wave or something, but let's just see. This will be our setup over here. If we take this pattern here, right, and apply it to the next market, which is the Australian market, it would look like this here. So we've got wave 1 over here with a nice ABC pattern, and the good thing here, this is confirmed as being corrective because we've moved above the B wave here. Now we can look at it as wave 1 and back for wave 2, but wave 2 is rather big and ugly because B waves are a bit like wave 4, so they can get a bit complicated. They can be simple, but generally speaking they can, quite easily populate as being complicated. And in corrections, with all wave structures, it's simple, complex, simple, or simple, complex, and more complex. So simple, complex, and simple. So anyway, this particular move here, I don't know if that's the top or not. Probably not, because the market's opened up high, the banks will open up higher or whatever, yada yada yada. But we could get this here as well. So this is the move that we need to be careful. This is the trap. So what we do here is, we work this low here. We'll work 5 waves up here. When we get the top, we just wait. We just wait for the ABC. Now it's either going to come. It's either going to come further down. It'll end up with, something like this here, and then a wave 2 here, and 3, 4, 5, or something or other, But if it's going to be 5 waves up and give us an ABC here, then it's going to go up from that point. So all we need to do is be long over here. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully Thursday will unveil all of this, and Thursday afternoon will be in the bullish weekly cycle. Thursday will firm up. It'll be bearish, but firming up late in the afternoon, and then give us Friday as our bullish day with Monday to follow through, and we can move up here. But I don't know. I just say that I can see a case for both sides. I can see a case for being bullish, and I can see a case for being bearish. So if we just take a balanced view of it and say the chances are 50-50, and then then we're not swayed, and then we just wait for the evidence to rock up, and we know what we're looking for on the long side. The long trade I'm not interested in trading short. I'm interested in trading long because that will be the better trade, and that will also be the one that comes first as well. And I'm not interested in trading, this way, this leg down here, the time it all happens. As I said before, with all of these moves, if we're not going to trade from wave 1 down to wave 2, we're not going to trade short in this because we don't want to lose money in this, right? Because it's going to upset you and throw you off for being in this third wave over here. And this third wave, we do not want to fuck that up, basically, excuse the French. So we need to prepare for this. We're preparing for it now. We may get it, we may not, but we're at least at least we have a plan. At least we're onto it. So I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.